Lily Chen had been working double shifts at Romano's Bistro for the past 3 years. Day in and day out, she served plates with a smile while hiding how tired she really was. At 28 years old, Lily wasn't just a waitress. She was also taking care of her younger brother and putting herself through music classes at the local community college. The restaurant was busy as usual that Tuesday afternoon. Lily moved between tables, balancing 3 plates on one arm and a pitcher of water in her other hand. "Order up for table 7, called out the chef from the kitchen window. Lily quickly finished refilling water glasses and hurried to pick up the new order. As she carefully arranged the plates on her serving tray, the restaurant owner, Mr. Romano, emerged from his office with an excited look on his face. "Everyone, gather around. I have big news," he announced, waving a fancy-looking letter in the air. The staff paused their work and formed a circle around him. Mr. Romano wasn't usually this excited, so it had to be something important. Romano's has been selected to cater the annual charity gala at the Hillcrest estate, he declared proudly. "This is the biggest event in town. The mayor will be there, along with all the most important people in the city. This could put our restaurant on the map." The staff broke into applause and excited chatter. Lily smiled along with her co-workers, but her heart sank a little. The annual charity gala was always held on the last Friday of the month, the same night as her piano recital at the community college. She had been practicing for months for this performance. It was going to be evaluated by her professor and would count for nearly half her grade this semester. When the excitement died down, Mr. Romano started assigning roles for the event. "Lily, you'll be on the main service team. Your attention to detail is exactly what we need for this crowd," he said with a nod in her direction. Lily hesitated, then raised her hand. "Mr. Romano, I actually requested that night off a few months ago. I have an important recital at school." Mr. Romano's smile faded slightly. I see. Well, this is all hands on deck, Lily. These kinds of events come with generous tips that could help with your school expenses. Besides, there will be other recitals, right?" The other staff members were looking at her now. Lily felt her cheeks growing warm. She knew how important this opportunity was for the restaurant, and Mr. Romano had been good to her, often arranging her schedule around her classes. "Let me think about it," she replied softly. After her shift ended, Lily sat at one of the empty tables, still in her black and white uniform. She pulled out her phone and looked at the calendar. The recital had been on her schedule for 6 months. She had been practicing Chopin's Ballade No. 1 in G minor every free moment she had. Her professor had even arranged for her to use the practice rooms after hours since Lily didn't have a piano at home. Her fingers tapped nervously on the table, unconsciously playing the tricky passage from the middle section of the piece that she still struggled with. The thought of missing the recital made her stomach twist. But disappointing Mr. Romano and letting down the team didn't feel right either. Her phone buzzed with a text from her brother. "Kai, don't forget to pick up my medicine on your way home. How was work?" Lily sighed. The prescription for Kai's asthma medication wasn't cheap even with insurance. The extra money from the gala would definitely help with next month's expenses. As she was about to leave, Jenny, one of the other waitresses, sat down across from her. "Hey, you look like you're solving world hunger over here," Jenny said with a gentle smile. Lily laughed softly, just trying to figure out what to do about Friday. "I've got this really important piano recital, but Romano wants you at the gala," Jenny finished for her. "Yeah, that's tough. I didn't know you played piano." "I've been playing since I was 5. My grandmother taught me," Lily explained, a fond memory flickering across her face. She was a music teacher back in her home country. When she moved here, she couldn't find work teaching music, so she cleaned houses instead. "But she made sure I learned to play." "Wow, that's cool. Are you any good?" Jenny asked. "I'm okay," Lily replied modestly. "I love classical music. My grandmother used to say that music speaks when words fail." Jenny nodded thoughtfully. "Well, for what it's worth, the tips at these fancy events really are amazing. Last year I worked a similar function and made more in one night than I usually make in 2 weeks." Lily's eyes widened. That kind of money would cover Kai's medication and maybe even help with next semester's tuition. "Plus," Jenny continued, "all these rich people in one place? You never know who you might meet. Connections, you know." That evening, Lily practiced her piano piece in the empty college practice room. Her professor had given her a key so she could use the room after hours. The melody flowed from her fingers, filling the small room with emotion. As she played the final notes, she made her decision. The next morning, Lily arrived at work early. Mr. Romano was in his office going through invoices. "Mr. Romano, can I talk to you for a minute?" she asked, standing in the doorway. He looked up and gestured for her to come in. "Of course, Lily, what's on your mind?" "I'll work the gala on Friday," she said. "But I was wondering if there's any way I could maybe leave a little early. My recital starts at 9 and the first half is other students." Mr. Romano smiled broadly. "That's great news. About leaving early. Let me see what I can do. These events usually wind down around 10, but maybe we can work something out." Lily nodded, trying not to show her disappointment. A 9 o'clock recital meant she would be performing around 10 or 10:30. Even if she left the gala early, she would still miss her performance slot. For the next few days, the restaurant was buzzing with preparation for the big event. Extra supplies were ordered, special menu items were tested, and the staff had several meetings about proper service for high-end clients. Lily threw herself into the preparations, trying not to think about her missed recital. The night before the gala, Lily emailed her professor explaining the situation and asking if there was any way to reschedule her performance. She didn't have high hopes, but it was worth a try. The day of the gala arrived and Lily pressed her serving uniform carefully. It was the same as her regular work clothes, but newer and crisper. She pulled her long dark hair back into a neat bun and applied light makeup. "You look fancy," Kai commented from the doorway of their small shared apartment. At 17, he was tall and lanky, looking older than his years. "Big event tonight," Lily replied, adjusting her collar. "Don't wait up, I'll be late." "Got band practice anyway," he said with a shrug. "Good luck with the rich people." Lily arrived at the Hillcrest estate an hour before the event was set to begin. The mansion was even more impressive than she had imagined. Built in the 1920s, it sat on a hill overlooking the city, surrounded by carefully maintained gardens. Inside, crystal chandeliers hung from high ceilings, and expensive artwork decorated the walls. The catering team had set up in one of the smaller rooms that connected to the main ballroom. Mr. Romano was giving last-minute instructions as the staff prepared trays of appetizers and champagne. "Remember, these people are used to the best," he said, straightening his bow tie. "Every detail matters. Lily, Jenny, you two will start with the champagne trays as guests arrive." Lily nodded, feeling a flutter of nervousness in her stomach. As she arranged delicate champagne flutes on her silver tray, she glanced through the doorway into the ballroom. At the far end of the room stood a magnificent grand piano, its polished surface gleaming under the chandelier lights. Her heart ached a little at the sight of it. Instead of performing her piece tonight, she would be carrying trays and taking orders. But as her grandmother always said, sometimes we must play the notes we are given, not the ones we wish for. With a deep breath, Lily picked up her tray and prepared to greet the first guests. The night ahead would be long, but at least it would help secure her future, and her brother's, and who knew? Maybe someday she would return to a place like this, not as a server, but as the one sitting at that beautiful piano. As the first guests began to arrive in their designer clothes and sparkling jewelry, Lily put on her best smile. "Good evening," she said warmly, offering the tray of champagne. "Welcome to the Hillcrest estate." The Hillcrest estate sparkled like something from a fairy tale. Lily had never seen so many diamonds and designer clothes in one place. As she moved through the crowd with her tray of champagne flutes, she felt almost invisible. The wealthy guests barely glanced at her as they took drinks from her tray, too busy discussing their latest vacations or business deals. "Did you see the new yacht the Johnsons bought? I heard it cost more than our summer home. Speaking of which, how is the renovation going in the Hamptons?" Snippets of conversation floated around her as she weaved between groups of people. Lily kept her professional smile in place, even when one guest absent-mindedly handed her an empty glass without looking at her face. After an hour, her feet were already starting to hurt in the new shoes Mr. Romano had insisted all the staff wear for the event. They looked nice but felt like torture devices. She caught Jenny's eye across the room and they shared a knowing look. This was going to be a long night. During a brief moment of respite, Lily found herself standing near the beautiful grand piano she had noticed earlier. It sat untouched in the corner of the ballroom, its lid closed. She wondered why no one was playing it. For such an elegant event, live music would have been perfect. "Beautiful, isn't it?" a voice said beside her. Lily turned to see an older gentleman in an impeccably tailored suit. Unlike most of the other guests, he was actually looking at her, not through her. "Yes, it is," she replied, careful to maintain her professional demeanor. "I was just thinking it's a shame no one's playing it." The man nodded. "It's a Steinway Model D concert grand, one of the finest instruments ever made." He ran his hand gently over the polished surface. "It belongs to the Hillcrest family. Has been in their collection for 3 generations. Lily found herself warming to the gentleman. It was nice to be treated like a person rather than part of the furniture. "Do you play?" he asked. "I do, actually," she admitted. "I'm studying music education at the community college." The man raised an eyebrow, seeming genuinely interested. "Classical training?" "Yes. I was supposed to perform Chopin's Ballad No. 1 at my recital tonight, but—" She trailed off, realizing she was sharing too much. "I'm sorry, I should get back to work." The man smiled kindly. "No need to apologize. Music is a noble pursuit. I'm Howard, by the way. Howard Graham." "Lily," she replied with a small nod. "Nice to meet you." Before they could continue their conversation, Mr. Romano appeared at her elbow. "Lily!" "More champagne needed at the entrance," he said urgently, then noticed who she was speaking with. "Mr. Graham, I didn't realize you were attending tonight. It's an honor to have you here." Mr. Romano's sudden deference surprised Lily. Whoever this Howard Graham was, he clearly was someone important. "Romano, isn't it?" Howard said. "Your catering service comes highly recommended. I was just having a pleasant conversation with your staff member here." Mr. Romano beamed. "Lily is one of our best. Now, if you'll excuse us." As Lily followed Mr. Romano back to the catering area, she whispered, "Who was that?" "Howard Graham," Mr. Romano hissed back. "Only one of the biggest donors to the arts in this city. His foundation funds half the cultural programs around here, including the symphony orchestra. Be extra nice to him." The night continued, and Lily fell into the rhythm of service. Appetizers were followed by the main course, which was followed by dessert. The guests seemed pleased with the food, and Mr. Romano looked increasingly relaxed as the event progressed smoothly. Just as the dessert plates were being cleared, Lily noticed a commotion near the entrance to the ballroom. A woman in an elegant blue gown was speaking animatedly with an older lady who appeared to be in charge of the event. The woman in blue seemed upset, gesturing with her hands and shaking her head. "What's going on?" Lily asked Jenny as they passed each other with empty trays. "I overheard that the pianist they hired for the evening had a family emergency and canceled at the last minute," Jenny replied. "Mrs. Hillcrest is not happy. Apparently, the musical portion was supposed to encourage people to donate to tonight's charity." Lily glanced over at the still silent piano. A thought began to form in her mind, but she quickly pushed it away. It wasn't her place to offer to play. These people were expecting a professional, not a student waitress. As the night wore on, Mrs. Hillcrest stepped onto the small platform near the piano and tapped on a microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming tonight to support the Children's Hospital Foundation. As you know, we had planned a special musical performance to inspire your generosity. Unfortunately, our pianist had a family emergency and couldn't be here." A murmur of disappointment ran through the crowd. "However," Mrs. Hillcrest continued, forcing a smile, "that doesn't diminish the importance of our cause. The Children's Cancer Ward needs a new MRI machine, and your donations tonight will help make that possible." Lily stood in the back of the room listening. She thought about all the children who would benefit from that machine. She thought about her grandmother, who had always encouraged her to share her music. And she thought about her missed recital. Before she could talk herself out of it, Lily set down her tray and approached Mr. Romano, who was standing near the kitchen entrance. "Mr. Romano," she said quietly, "I could play." He looked at her with confusion. "What do you mean?" "The piano," she explained, her heart pounding. "I told you I had a recital tonight. I've been practicing Chopin for months. I could play for the guests." Mr. Romano's eyes widened. "Lily, these people are expecting a professional. I know it's not the same, but it's better than nothing, right? And it's for the Children's Hospital." Mr. Romano hesitated, clearly torn between dismissing her idea outright and the possibility that it might work. "Please," Lily added, "let me try." After a moment, Mr. Romano nodded reluctantly. "Wait here." He approached Mrs. Hillcrest and whispered something to her. She looked surprised, then skeptical, glancing over at Lily. After a brief discussion, Mrs. Hillcrest made her way over to where Lily stood. My event coordinator tells me you play the piano, she said, looking Lily up and down with unconcealed doubt. Yes, ma'am, Lily replied, trying to appear more confident than she felt. I study music at the community college. I've been preparing Chopin's Ballet No. 1 for my recital. Chopin? Mrs. Hillcrest raised an eyebrow. That's rather ambitious. My grandmother was a music teacher, Lily explained. She taught me from the time I was 5. Mrs. Hillcrest still looked doubtful. And you're offering to play? Now? Yes, ma'am. If it would help with the donations for the children's hospital. Mrs. Hillcrest studied her for a moment longer, then sighed. Well, I suppose it can't hurt. One piece, then. If it doesn't go well, we'll simply move on to the donation portion of the evening. Lily's heart leaped. This was her chance not just to play the beautiful Steinway, but to actually make a difference with her music. Thank you, she said sincerely. I won't let you down. As Mrs. Hillcrest returned to the microphone, Lily saw Howard Graham watching her from across the room. He gave her an encouraging nod. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Hillcrest announced, it seems we have a volunteer who has offered to provide some music for us after all. One of our catering staff is apparently a piano student and has agreed to play a piece. There was a smattering of polite applause, though Lily could see the skepticism on many faces. They were expecting to be underwhelmed by an amateur performance. Lily took a deep breath and made her way to the piano. Her legs felt wobbly and her palms were sweating. This was nothing like her practice room at school. Here, surrounded by crystal and wealthy patrons, she felt completely out of place in her serving uniform. As she approached the magnificent instrument, she saw a few guests exchange glances and whispers. One woman actually rolled her eyes. Lily felt her confidence wavering. Then she saw Jenny giving her a thumbs up from near the kitchen door. And beyond her, surprisingly, stood Mr. Romano, watching with a mixture of concern and hope on his face. Lily sat down on the bench and adjusted it to her height. The keys gleamed in the chandelier light, pristine and perfect. She placed her hands on them, feeling their cool smoothness beneath her fingers. She closed her eyes for a moment, letting the noise of the room fade away. In her mind, she heard her grandmother's voice. Music speaks what cannot be expressed. It's not about who's listening or where you are. It's about what's in your heart. Lily opened her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to play. The first few notes of Chopin's Ballade No. 1 in G minor filled the room, gentle and questioning. Lily's fingers moved with practiced precision, the hours of rehearsal taking over. As the piece progressed, building from its delicate beginning to more complex passages, she forgot about the audience, forgot about her serving uniform, forgot about everything except the music. Her hands danced across the keys, bringing forth the emotion and drama that Chopin had woven into the composition. The piece told a story of longing, of passion, of triumph and loss, and Lily told it with all her heart. Around her, the room had fallen completely silent. As Lily's fingers danced across the keys, something magical happened in the ballroom. The chattering guests who moments before had been discussing business deals and vacation homes fell silent one by one. Glasses stopped clinking. Whispers faded away. All eyes turned toward the young woman in the serving uniform seated at the grand piano. The rich emotional notes of Chopin's ballade filled every corner of the room. Lily played with her eyes half closed, lost in the music that had been her faithful companion through years of struggles and dreams. This piece had been her grandmother's favorite, and playing it always made Lily feel like her grandmother was still with her, guiding her hands. A middle-aged woman in a sparkling blue dress slowly sank into a nearby chair, her champagne glass forgotten in her hand. An older gentleman removed his glasses and quietly wiped his eyes. In the back of the room, a young couple held hands, their faces reflecting wonder. Mrs. Hillcrest stood frozen near the microphone stand, her mouth slightly open. She had clearly expected a simple, possibly awkward performance from the waitress, not this flood of passionate, professional-level music that now commanded the room. As the piece moved into its more complex middle section, Lily's fingers flew over the keys with precision and feeling. The challenging runs that had given her trouble during practice now flowed effortlessly. It was as if the magnificent Steinway was responding to her touch in a way her practice piano never had, bringing out nuances in the music she hadn't known were there. Mr. Romano stood near the kitchen entrance, his face a mixture of shock and pride. Next to him, Jenny was recording the performance on her phone, a huge smile on her face. "That's our Lily," she whispered to a fellow server. "Who would have thought?" Howard Graham had moved closer to the piano, watching Lily's performance with intense focus. His expression was that of someone who had discovered something rare and precious when they least expected it. As the piece built toward its dramatic climax, Lily poured everything she had into the music, all her sacrifices, her struggles with tuition, her care for her brother, the recital she'd missed tonight, and the dreams she feared might never come true. The music rose and fell, tender in one moment and thunderous the next, telling a story without words that somehow everyone in the room understood. When she reached the final, powerful chords, Lily's whole body moved with the music. Her face showed every emotion in the piece: hope, longing, triumph, and acceptance. As the last note hung in the air, Lily sat perfectly still, her hands resting on the keys, her heart pounding in her chest. For 3 long seconds, there was complete silence. Then the room erupted. Applause burst forth like a dam breaking, filling the ballroom with thunderous appreciation. People rose to their feet, clapping enthusiastically. Someone let out a whistle. Calls of "bravo" echoed around the room. Lily opened her eyes fully, almost startled by the response. She hadn't expected this, hadn't expected anything really except perhaps polite applause. The standing ovation caught her completely off guard. She rose shakily from the piano bench and gave an awkward bow, her cheeks flushing pink. The applause continued, showing no signs of stopping. Mrs. Hillcrest hurried to the microphone, her previous skepticism replaced by genuine enthusiasm. "Ladies and gentlemen," she said, her voice slightly breathless, "wasn't that extraordinary? Please give another round of applause for Lily Chen." The crowd responded with even louder applause. Lily bowed again, not quite knowing what to do with herself. She glanced toward Mr. Romano, wondering if she should return to her serving duties. Before she could move away from the piano, Howard Graham approached her, clapping slowly and deliberately. "Young lady," he said, his voice carrying even over the applause, "that was not the playing of a student. That was the playing of an artist." Lily swallowed hard, overcome with emotion. "Thank you, sir." The crowd began to quiet down as Mrs. Hillcrest spoke into the microphone again. "I think we can all agree that was an unexpected treasure," she said, smiling broadly. "And speaking of treasures, let's remember why we're here tonight. To support the Children's Hospital Foundation and their vital work. After such an inspiring performance, I hope you'll all be inspired to give generously." As Mrs. Hillcrest continued her appeal for donations, Lily tried to slip back toward the kitchen, but her path was blocked by guests eager to speak with her. "Where did you study?" asked a woman dripping in diamonds. "Just the community college," Lily replied, still feeling dazed by the response. "Impossible," declared a man in an expensive suit. "You must have trained at Juilliard or Curtis." "No, sir," Lily said with a small smile. "Just lots of practice. Are you available for private events?" Another guest wanted to know, already reaching for a business card. Lily didn't know how to respond. She'd never considered playing professionally at events. Before she could answer, Mr. Romano appeared at her elbow. "Lily is one of our most valuable team members," he said smoothly, beaming with newfound pride. "But I'm sure we could work something out. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have desserts to serve." He guided Lily back toward the kitchen, leaning in to whisper, "That was incredible. Why didn't you tell me you could play like that?" "I tried to tell you I had a recital tonight," Lily said, still feeling overwhelmed by the response. Mr. Romano had the grace to look embarrassed. "Well, I'm glad you spoke up when our hostess needed someone. You've made Romano's Bistro look very good tonight." In the kitchen, the entire catering staff greeted her with quiet applause and pats on the back. Jenny rushed up and gave her a quick hug. "I got it all on video," she said excitedly. "You're going to be famous." Lily laughed. "Don't be silly. I just played one piece." "One piece that had the richest people in town on their feet," Jenny pointed out. "Trust me, this is big." For the rest of the evening, Lily tried to return to her duties serving dessert and coffee, but it wasn't easy. Guests kept stopping her to compliment her playing or ask questions about her background. Some even tried to slip her business cards or cash tips directly, which she politely declined, explaining that all gratuities were shared among the staff. As the night wore on and the crowd began to thin, Lily found herself once again near the piano. She resisted the urge to touch it again, to feel the perfect weight of those keys under her fingers one more time. It had been like driving a luxury car after years of using a bicycle. The difference between her practice piano at school and this masterpiece of an instrument was that dramatic. "You should play another," came a voice behind her. Lily turned to see Howard Graham again. He had stayed until the end of the event, unlike many guests who had left after making their donations. "Oh, I couldn't," Lily said. "I'm working and most of the guests are leaving." "I'm not," Howard said simply. "And I suspect Mrs. Hillcrest wouldn't mind." The donations tonight exceeded their goal by 40%. She attributes that directly to your performance. Lily blinked in surprise. "Really?" Howard nodded. "Music has power, especially when played with genuine emotion. You moved people tonight, myself included." Lily glanced around. The ballroom was much emptier now, with only a few small groups of guests finishing their conversations. The catering staff was busy clearing tables in another section of the room. "Maybe just a short piece," she said hesitantly. She sat down at the piano again and thought for a moment. Then her fingers began to play Debussy's Clair de Lune, a piece that felt like moonlight on water, gentle, reflective, and serene. It was shorter and less technically demanding than the Chopin, but no less beautiful. The remaining guests paused their conversations to listen. Mrs. Hillcrest, who had been saying goodbye to departing guests near the entrance, returned to stand near the piano. As the final gentle notes of the Debussy piece faded away, Lily felt a sense of peace wash over her. Whatever happened after tonight, she would always have this memory of playing this magnificent piano in this beautiful room, and of being truly heard. The small audience applauded warmly. Mrs. Hillcrest approached the piano with a genuine smile. "Lily, isn't it? I want to thank you for stepping in tonight. Your playing was, well, it was exactly what this event needed." "I was happy to help," Lily replied sincerely. Mrs. Hillcrest hesitated, then added, "The Hillcrest Foundation sponsors several young musicians each year. We haven't selected all our recipients for this season. Perhaps you should apply." Lily's heart skipped a beat. "Thank you. I'll definitely look into that." As the last guest departed and the catering team finished packing up, Mr. Romano approached Lily with an envelope. "Your share of tonight's tips," he said, handing it to her. "And I added a bonus. You more than earned it." Lily opened the envelope and gasped at the amount inside. It was more than she usually made in 2 weeks of shifts. "Mr. Romano, this is too much." "It's not enough," he interrupted. "But it's what I can do." "And Lily? Take tomorrow off. You've earned that too." As Lily helped carry the last of the equipment to the catering van, she noticed Howard Graham waiting near his car, a sleek black luxury sedan. He motioned her over. "I have something for you," he said, holding out a business card. "I'm the director of the Graham Foundation for the Arts. I'd like you to come to my office next week. I think we should talk about your future." Lily took the card with trembling fingers. "My future?" Howard smiled kindly. "A talent like yours shouldn't be hidden. Call my assistant and set up an appointment." He paused, then added, "And Lily, bring your music. Our office has a very nice piano." As she watched his car drive away, Lily stood in the cool night air, clutching the business card like a lifeline. Above her, the stars seemed particularly bright, as if celebrating with her. For the first time in a long while, Lily allowed herself to hope that maybe, just maybe, her grandmother's dream for her might come true after all. The morning after the gala, Lily woke up later than usual. Mr. Romano had given her the day off, a rare luxury she couldn't remember experiencing in months. Sunlight streamed through the thin curtains of the small apartment she shared with her brother Kai. She stretched and reached for her phone, surprised to see dozens of notifications. There were texts from Jenny and other coworkers, several missed calls, and a flood of social media alerts. "What in the world?" she murmured, sitting up in bed. She opened a text from Jenny. "You're going viral. Check your email and call me." With growing confusion, Lily opened her email to find a message from Jenny with a link to a video. She clicked on it and nearly dropped her phone when she saw herself at the grand piano, playing Chopin at the Hillcrest estate. The video, titled "Waitress Stuns Wealthy Crowd with Incredible Piano Performance," already had over 50,000 views. "Oh my goodness," Lily whispered, her hand covering her mouth. The bedroom door creaked open and Kai poked his head in, his hair still messy from sleep. "Hey, you're famous," he said with a grin. "What? How do you know?" My friend Tom sent me the video this morning. Said, "Isn't this your sister?" Well, pretty cool, sis. Kai flopped down on the edge of her bed. At 17, he tried to act unimpressed by most things, but Lily could tell he was proud. "I can't believe Jenny posted it," Lily said, watching the view count tick up even as she stared at the screen. "Well, believe it," Kai replied. "And check out the comments. People are going nuts over you." Lily scrolled down to the comments section, her eyes widening as she read, "Who is this amazing pianist? She needs a record deal." "I'm literally crying. This is what raw talent looks like. From serving drinks to serving Chopin perfection. Incredible." The video had been shared thousands of times already. There were even comments from people claiming to have been at the event. "I was there. Everyone was in tears by the end. Most magical moment ever. She saved our charity event. We raised double our goal after her performance." Lily put the phone down, feeling overwhelmed. "This is crazy, Kai. I just played the piano. I do that all the time." "Yeah, but not in front of rich people while wearing a server's uniform," Kai pointed out pragmatically. "People love that kind of story. It's like a movie or something." Before Lily could respond, her phone rang. It was Jenny. "Oh my God, have you seen it?" Jenny practically shouted when Lily answered. "Yes, I've seen it," Lily replied, still trying to process everything. "Jenny, why did you post that without asking me?" "I'm sorry. I just thought it was so amazing and I wanted to share it with a few friends. Then they shared it and it just exploded. Are you mad?" Lily sighed. She couldn't really be angry at Jenny, who had always been supportive of her music. "No, I'm not mad. Just surprised. I never expected anything like this." "Well, get ready for more surprises. The local news station called Romano's this morning. They want to interview you." "What?" "No, I can't do that," Lily protested. "Why not? This could be huge for you, Lily. Think about it. You've been struggling to pay for music school forever. This could lead to scholarships, opportunities." Lily bit her lip, considering. "I don't know, Jenny. This is all happening so fast." After hanging up, Lily sat on her bed staring at Howard Graham's business card. She had planned to call on Monday to set up an appointment, but now she wondered if she should call sooner. With the video going viral, would he still be interested in meeting with her, or would he think she was just seeking attention? Her thoughts were interrupted by another call, this one from Mr. Romano. "Lily, have you seen the video?" "It's everywhere." He sounded more excited than she had ever heard him. "Yes, I've seen it," she said. "The phone at the restaurant hasn't stopped ringing. People asking about you. Asking if you'll be playing there, wanting to make reservations if you are. This is incredible publicity." Lily couldn't help but smile at his enthusiasm. "I'm glad it's good for the restaurant." "Good? It's amazing. Listen, I had an idea. What if we set up a small piano in the corner of the dining room? You could play a few nights a week. We'd pay you, of course, in addition to your regular shifts." The offer took Lily by surprise. "You want me to play at Romano's?" "Absolutely." "Think about it and let me know. Oh, and the local news wants to interview you here at the restaurant tomorrow." Great publicity. After hanging up, Lily lay back on her bed, staring at the ceiling. 24 hours ago, she had been disappointed about missing her recital. Now she was going viral online, being offered a piano gig, and had a potential meeting with the director of a major arts foundation. It was all too much to process. She needed some air. Lily got dressed and walked to the small park near their apartment building. It was a sunny day and families were out enjoying the weekend. She sat on a bench watching children play on the swings. A woman sitting nearby looked at her, then did a double take. "Excuse me," she said hesitantly, "but aren't you the pianist from that video? The waitress who played Chopin?" Lily blinked in surprise. "Yes, that's me." The woman smiled warmly. "My daughter and I watched it this morning. She's taking piano lessons and hates practicing. After seeing your video, she went straight to her keyboard and started playing. Thank you for inspiring her." Touched, Lily smiled back. "I'm glad she's practicing. It took me years of practice to learn that piece." "That's exactly what she needed to hear," the woman said. "Would you mind if I took a photo with you to show her?" After the woman left, Lily sat for a while longer, thinking about what had just happened. She had inspired a young girl to practice piano. Maybe all this attention wasn't just about her. Maybe it could be about something bigger. She pulled out her phone and Howard Graham's card. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the number. "Graham Foundation for the Arts," a polite voice answered. "Hello, this is Lily Chen. Mr. Graham asked me to call about setting up an appointment. Ah, Ms. Chen. Mr. Graham mentioned you might be calling. He asked me to put you through right away if you did. Before Lily could respond, the line clicked and Howard Graham's voice came on. Lily, I was hoping you'd call today. I've seen the video. Remarkable how fast these things spread nowadays. Lily felt herself blushing even though he couldn't see her. I had no idea someone would post it online. Well, I'm glad they did. Talent like yours deserves recognition. Now about that meeting, are you free on Monday morning? Yes, sir. I don't have classes until the afternoon. Excellent. 10 o'clock at our office downtown. The address is on the card. Lily hesitated, then asked, Mr. Graham, may I ask why you want to meet with me? There was a brief pause before he replied. Because in 40 years of supporting the arts, I've learned to recognize true talent when I hear it. And because I believe that talent deserves opportunity, regardless of where it comes from. Another pause. And because you played my late wife's favorite piece beautifully, and she would never forgive me if I didn't help you. The personal admission touched Lily deeply. Thank you, Mr. Graham. I'll see you Monday at 10. The weekend passed in a blur. Lily did the interview with the local news, standing nervously in Romano's bistro while answering questions about her background, her grandmother's influence, and her musical education. The reporter was kind, and the story aired that evening on the 6 o'clock news. By Sunday night, the viral video had reached over 1 million views. Lily had received messages from people all over the country, including several from music schools and piano teachers offering scholarships and lessons. She had also received a surprising email from Professor Wilson, her piano instructor at the community college. Dear Lily, I've seen the video of your performance at the Hillcrest Estate. While I'm sorry you missed your recital, I must say your performance of the ballade was exceptional. Better, in fact, than I've ever heard you play it in class. I would like to discuss your future in our program when you come to class on Monday. I believe you may be ready for more advanced opportunities. Monday morning arrived, and Lily stood outside the impressive glass building that housed the Graham Foundation for the Arts. She had worn her best outfit, a simple blue dress she usually saved for special occasions, and carried a folder with her music scores and a copy of her academic record. The receptionist, a friendly woman with silver hair, greeted her warmly. You must be Lily Chen. Everyone's been talking about you. Mr. Graham is ready to see you. Lily was led to a spacious office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Howard Graham rose from behind his desk to greet her, shaking her hand firmly. Welcome, Lily. Thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. Please, have a seat, he said, gesturing to a comfortable chair. First, let me say again how impressed I was with your playing at the gala. It's rare to hear such emotional depth, especially from someone so young. Thank you, Lily said, feeling both proud and embarrassed by the praise. Howard sat back in his chair, studying her thoughtfully. Tell me, what are your goals with your music? Lily had been expecting questions about her training or experience, not about her dreams. The direct question caught her slightly off guard. Well, she began slowly, I've always wanted to teach. My grandmother taught piano to children in our neighborhood, even though she never had a proper studio. I want to finish my music education degree and open a small studio where I can teach kids from all backgrounds, not just those who can afford expensive lessons. Howard nodded, seeming pleased with her answer. A noble goal. And performing? Do you see that in your future as well? Lily hesitated. Honestly, before the gala, I never really thought about performing professionally. I love playing, but I never thought I was good enough for that. And now? Now. Lily looked out the window at the city spread below them. Now I'm not sure. The response to the video has been overwhelming. It makes me wonder if maybe there could be more. Howard smiled. That's exactly why I wanted to meet with you, Lily. I believe there could be much more. He pressed a button on his desk. Nancy, could you ask Dr. Chen to join us? Moments later, the door opened and a woman in her 50s entered. She had a kind face and carried herself with quiet confidence. Lily, this is Dr. Isabel Chen. No relation to you, I presume. Lily shook her head as she stood to shake the woman's hand. Dr. Chen is the Dean of Music at Westbrook Conservatory, Howard explained. Lily's eyes widened. Westbrook was one of the most prestigious music schools in the country. Ms. Chen, it's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Chen said warmly. I've watched your performance video several times. Your interpretation of Chopin is quite remarkable. Thank you, Lily managed to say, still shocked by the introduction. Howard gestured for everyone to sit. The Graham Foundation has an established scholarship program with Westbrook. Each year we sponsor 5 promising musicians who might not otherwise have the opportunity to study there. Lily felt her heart begin to race. Was this going where she thought it was going? We would like to offer you one of those scholarships, Howard continued. Full tuition plus a stipend for living expenses. Lily sat in stunned silence, barely able to process what she was hearing. But, she finally said, finding her voice, don't I need to audition? Apply? I'm already enrolled at the community college and the semester is underway. Dr. Chen smiled. Your performance at the gala was audition enough. As for timing, you would start at Westbrook next semester. In the meantime, we could arrange for private instruction to prepare you for our program. I don't know what to say, Lily stammered. Say you'll think about it, Howard suggested gently. Take a few days to consider. This would be a significant change in your life. Lily nodded, grateful for the chance to process everything. I will. Thank you both so much for this opportunity. As she left the building a while later, Lily felt as if she were walking in a dream. The scholarship offer was beyond anything she could have imagined. Yet she couldn't help thinking about her brother, her job at Romano's, and the students she might never get to teach if she took a different path. Her phone buzzed with a text from Kai. How did the meeting go? Lily looked up at the blue sky above the city buildings. Her life had changed completely in just 3 days, all because she had found the courage to sit down at that piano when no one else would. She texted back, You won't believe what just happened. I'll tell you everything when I get home. Whatever she decided, Lily knew one thing for certain. She would never again be afraid to share her music with the world. 3 months had passed since the night Lily played piano at the Hillcrest estate. The winter chill had given way to early spring, and cherry blossoms dotted the campus of Westbrook Conservatory. Lily sat on a bench outside the main music building, soaking in a few minutes of sunshine between classes. She still sometimes found it hard to believe how much her life had changed. After much thought and many late-night conversations with Kai, she had accepted the Graham Foundation scholarship. The decision hadn't been easy. It meant leaving her job at Romano's, transferring from the community college and rearranging her entire life. But in the end, the opportunity was too significant to pass up. Westbrook was everything she had dreamed a music school could be. The facilities were amazing, with practice rooms containing grand pianos that rivaled the one at the Hillcrest estate. The professors were world-class musicians themselves, and for the first time in her life, Lily was surrounded by people who took music as seriously as she did. Her phone buzzed with a text from Kai. Got an A on my math test. Still coming to dinner tonight? Lily smiled and texted back, Great job. Yes, I'll be there at 6, making your favorite pasta. Though she had moved into a small campus apartment provided by her scholarship, Lily made sure to visit Kai several times a week. Thanks to the living stipend from the Graham Foundation, they had been able to move to a better apartment closer to his high school. Kai had even started talking about college himself, something he had never seemed interested in before. There you are, called a voice from across the lawn. Lily looked up to see Professor Rivera, her piano instructor, approaching with a folder under his arm. I've been looking for you, he said, sitting beside her on the bench. I wanted to talk to you about the Spring Showcase. The Spring Showcase was a prestigious event where selected Westbrook students performed for an audience that included music critics, talent scouts, and potential benefactors. Lily had attended the Winter Showcase as an audience member shortly after starting at Westbrook and had been amazed by the level of talent. What about it? Lily asked, hoping she wasn't in trouble. She had been practicing diligently for her part in the showcase, where she was scheduled to play a Rachmaninoff piece. Professor Rivera handed her the folder. There's been a change to the program. The faculty committee would like you to close the show instead of opening it. Lily blinked in surprise. Closing the show was the position of honor, usually reserved for the most accomplished graduating seniors. But I'm just a first-year student, she protested. A first-year student who has shown remarkable progress, Professor Rivera countered, and one who brings something special to her performances. Something that can't be taught. Lily opened the folder to find a revised program with her name listed last, in the coveted final slot. We'd also like you to change your piece, Professor Rivera continued. Instead of the Rachmaninoff, we think you should play the Chopin Ballade. The same one I played at the Hillcrest estate? Professor Rivera nodded. It suits you, and it's the piece that brought you to us. Seems fitting for your first major performance here. As he walked away, Lily stared at the program in her hands. Closing the showcase was a huge honor, but it also meant more pressure. Her viral video moment had faded somewhat from public memory, but within music circles, expectations for her were high. Some students even resented her rapid rise, whispering that she had gotten special treatment because of her unusual story. Later that evening, as promised, Lily made dinner for Kai at his apartment. As they ate, she told him about the showcase change. That's awesome, Kai said, twirling pasta onto his fork. You're like the star of the show now. It's scary, Lily admitted. What if I mess up? What if I'm not ready for this level? Kai put down his fork and looked at his sister seriously. Remember what Grandma used to say? Fear is just excitement without breath. Lily smiled at the memory. Their grandmother had always had a way of putting things into perspective. Take a deep breath, Kai advised, mimicking their grandmother's accent. And turn fear into power. Lily laughed and threw a napkin at him. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise, Kai replied with a grin. You were just too busy working double shifts to notice. After dinner, Lily checked her email and found a message from Mr. Romano. Though she no longer worked at the bistro, they had stayed in touch. He had installed a small piano in the restaurant as planned, and different musicians took turns playing on weekend nights, a change that had boosted business considerably. Just checking in to see how music school is going, he wrote. We miss you around here, but everyone's proud of you. Jenny showed us the article about your upcoming showcase. The whole staff is planning to attend to cheer you on. The thought of her former co-workers coming to Westbrook to see her perform brought tears to Lily's eyes. They had been like family during her years at the bistro. The weeks leading up to the showcase flew by in a blur of classes and practice sessions. Lily worked tirelessly on perfecting her Chopin piece, not just playing the notes but bringing the emotion and story behind them to life. 2 days before the showcase, Lily received another surprise. Howard Graham requested she come to his office for a brief meeting. When she arrived, he wasn't alone. With him was Mrs. Hillcrest from the charity gala where it had all begun. Lily, wonderful to see you again. Mrs. Hillcrest greeted her warmly. You look different, happier, I think. I am, Lily admitted. Thank you both for everything you've done for me. Howard gestured for her to sit. We asked you here because we have a proposition. The Children's Hospital is opening its new wing next month, the one with the MRI machine your performance helped fund. They've asked if you would consider playing at the opening ceremony. Mrs. Hillcrest continued. The families of many of the children who will benefit would love to hear you play. Lily felt honored by the request. Of course I'll play. It would mean a lot to me. Wonderful. Mrs. Hillcrest beamed. Oh, and one more thing. Some of the older children in the cancer ward have expressed interest in learning music. The hospital is considering starting a small music therapy program, and they wondered if you might be involved in some way. Lily's eyes widened. Like, teaching piano to the children? Howard nodded. Nothing formal at first. Perhaps once a week, spending time with the kids who are interested. It would be compensated, of course. I would love that, Lily said without hesitation. That's actually what I've always wanted to do. Teach children who might not otherwise have the opportunity. As she left the meeting, Lily felt a sense of things coming full circle. She was getting the education she had always dreamed of, and now she would also have the chance to begin teaching, just as her grandmother had done. The night of the spring showcase arrived. The concert hall at Westbrook was filled to capacity. Lily peeked through the curtain from backstage and saw her brother in the third row, sitting with Mr. Romano, Jenny, and several other staff members from the bistro. Howard Graham was there with his foundation board members, and she even spotted Mrs. Hillcrest with a group of well-dressed patrons. Most touching of all, Professor Wilson from her community college was present, sitting proudly near the front. He had been the first to recognize her talent and had fully supported her transfer to Westbrook. As the showcase progressed, Lily listened backstage to the incredible performances of her fellow students. The level of talent was intimidating, but instead of making her nervous, it inspired her. These were her peers now, her musical family. Finally, it was her turn. As the dean announced her name, there was enthusiastic applause, louder than for any previous performer. Lily took a deep breath, remembering what Kai had said about turning fear into power. She walked onto the stage in a simple but elegant blue dress, a gift from her new friends at Westbrook. The grand piano waited for her, its lid raised to project the sound fully into the concert hall. Lily sat down, adjusted the bench, and placed her hands on the keys. For a moment she thought about how far she had come from that night at the Hillcrest estate. Then she began to play. The Chopin ballade flowed from her fingers with even more depth and nuance than before. All the emotions of the past 3 months, the joy, the challenges, the growth, poured into her performance. Lily wasn't just playing notes. She was telling her story through the music. When she reached the powerful conclusion, the final chord seemed to hang in the air for a moment before the audience erupted into applause. They rose to their feet as one, giving her a standing ovation that continued as she took her bow. From the stage, Lily could see Kai cheering wildly, Mr. Romano wiping a tear, and Howard Graham nodding with satisfaction. But what touched her most was the group of young people in the back, music students from the community college who had come to support their former classmate. As the applause continued, Lily took another bow, her heart full of gratitude. The journey from waitress to music student had been unexpected and sometimes difficult, but standing here now, she knew it had been worth every step. Later that night, after the reception following the showcase, Lily returned to her small campus apartment. On her desk sat a framed photograph of her grandmother at a piano, smiling at a much younger Lily seated beside her. Next to it was a new addition, the program from the showcase with Lily's name listed as the final performer. She touched both items gently, then sat at the small keyboard she kept in her room. Though it was late, she played a quiet melody, not Chopin or Rachmaninoff or any of the complex pieces she studied at school, but a simple folk tune her grandmother had taught her as a child. As the sweet, familiar notes filled the room, Lily smiled. Her life had changed in ways she never could have imagined when she was juggling plates at Romano's Bistro. She had new opportunities, new challenges, and a bright future ahead. But through it all, the thing that mattered most remained the same. The music that had always been in her heart, waiting for its moment to be heard.